this lesson, we will make our lives a bit easier and use a drawing aid to help us with the perspective lines. This is basically to create a perspective grid between two vanishing points. So let's first draw the horizon line and add two vanishing points on it. Now I will start drawing the star. First, we draw a vertical and horizontal lines. Let's now copy it and rotate it 45 degrees. We will just do the same thing over and over until we get as many lines around the vanishing points as we want. But do not go overboard or the center of the star will get very blurry. Once we finish it, we can lower the opacity so it doesn't distract us from drawing actual objects on the grid. We can now copy it to the other vanishing point, and in between the two we will have our grid. Without even drawing perspective lines for the box, I can simply draw an object in 3D between the two stars right away, just using the help of the grid. And here it is, done very fast and very accurate without going through all the steps we went through before. You can also move these stars any way you want. We can make a one-point perspective using one star in the middle. Again, I'm drawing the box right away, without the need to connect back to the vanishing point, since the grid will do that for me. We use this aiding tool in complex scenes just to move things a bit faster, and to not have to connect every single object with every line back to the vanishing point. You can make the stars even bigger and move them out of the canvas and draw less distorted objects in between the two, like I'm doing here above the horizon line. All your lines will have to follow the grid as close as possible, even when there isn't a grid line where you want it to be. Use your eye-hand coordination to mimic the line angle closest to your object. Once you're done, you can hide the grid and move on to detailing your object. You can also change the color of the stars to make them less visible and then save them for other drawings you want to do, like a template. So instead of doing this over and over, you can just save them and import them whenever you want. These won't only help with geometrical objects, but also with organic ones drawn in perspective like what I'm doing here with this insect. Even though it's organic, the form will have to follow the grid, like the position of the feet on both sides and so on. We will do more examples on this later on. We can do the same for non-linear objects like a cylinder, and it will also help with the form lines like we did in the previous lesson. Let's try to do a quick geometrical example. I use a frame to crop the canvas in between the two vanishing points. I'm not gonna use any perspective lines here, just using the grid underneath. All non-vertical lines will follow the grid here. We can draw way faster using the grid than drawing everything back toward the vanishing point. This is how we're eventually going to use perspective to draw objects in later lessons. Even drawing details here and there can be done following the grid lines as well. It will make your process much faster and accurate at the same time. This tool can also be used to make drawing an object in perspective even easier. For example, we have here a wooden toy in perspective. So how can we use the grid to make it easier to draw? First, we do what we did before and find the horizon line and the vanishing points. So let's extend the lines of the train all the way back from different parts of the train, usually from the bottom and top, and see where they will meet. At the crossing point, we will have the first vanishing point, and then from it, we can have the horizon line. From the other side, since this is a two-point perspective, we can also extend the lines and make sure they meet at the same horizon line. Now we have two vanishing points and a horizon line like we did before, but we can add two stars on each side and get the perspective grid that fits this object in between. Now we can move the object away and start drawing the train without any perspective lines, just using the grid we made. Here we see the lines that are not vertical will be parallel to the grid lines. So we can start drawing the object now at a much faster pace than before. I'm not going to go into details of drawing a complex objects right now. We have way more lessons ahead before doing that, with lots of examples to go through. But I just wanted to show you that you can use the stars and the grid to not only draw geometrical things, but to actually draw objects, figures, and a whole scene using the same method. When we reach the third chapter in the advanced levels, we will eventually replace this grid with a mental grid that we do in our own imagination, and we draw the lines right away without even the grid itself. But that will be a bit far ahead. For now, you can practice this method on objects and scene and see how much it will make your life much easier. So try to do a couple of scenes with it or an object and see if it makes your process much faster. This is it for this lesson. It's another short one, but we will move on in the next lesson to converting 2D shapes into 3D objects using different perspective types. It will be like an application to everything we learned so far, so it will be an exciting lesson. For now, if you like this lesson, please feel free to leave a like. If you have any questions, leave them down below in the comment section and I will do my best to answer them as soon as possible. To stay notified for the future lessons, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Thank you all for watching and I will see you in the next lesson.